And the moment has come. Dillon Gabriel has broken his silence about his first NFL start.
I think there's always something to build on. No moral victories whatsoever, but I think regardless of result, week to week, there's a process, and more time you spend around anyone, you're going to get more continuity, and that's, QB to receiver, that's QB to running back, that's us as a whole unit coming together really, and getting comfortable with, our unit.
What if I told you the so-called Golden Boy quarterback just turned his big debut into a full-blown highlight reel of mistakes, and in doing so, handed Shedeur Sanders the golden ticket he's been waiting on? Yeah, Dillon Gabriel's first game crashed harder than a shopping cart flying down a San Francisco hill, and now the internet's going wild, already rewriting the Heisman race. This one's pure comedy mixed with football prophecy and packed with that signature Shedeur-level chaos.
Guys, man, I'm here to tell you, man, watching that game this morning against my Minnesota Vikings when Dillon Gabriel took the field, like I stated to you guys, Cleveland Browns defense is an elite defense. They was the #1 rated defense coming into the day's game. And Cleveland Brown had a lot of possessions on the short side of the field. You look at the first touchdown that Dillon Gabriel threw. Judkins, Cleveland's running back, was killing us, gashing us, doing all the garbage work. Then you got down there to the 3-yard line, and Dillon Gabriel threw a 3-yard touchdown to Fannin.
It finally happened. The hype train came off the tracks in spectacular fashion. The internet's clowning hard, and Dillon Gabriel's grand debut turned into a live tutorial on how to crush expectations in record time. You could almost hear the whole stadium groan together as reality hit. This so-called new era looked exactly like the old one, just with more interceptions, shaky confidence, and a whole lot more chaos. And hey, if you're vibing with this breakdown, hit that subscribe. It helps more than you think.
Now, you're going to hear the analysts. They're going to tell you Dillon Gabriel did a great job. He handled the team well. And those of us that watched the game, we're not going to knock his back in, but we are going to tell the truth. Dillon Gabriel did exactly what he was told to do. Now, whether or not you think that was good or not, that's left to see. But what we can tell you is that the stats don't lie. They don't have opinion.
The memes didn't even wait till halftime. They popped up instantly, spreading online like flies at a summer cookout. And just like that, the spotlight shifted, the doors swung wide open, and the path everyone pretended didn't exist suddenly cleared up for one man, Shedeur Sanders.
We're going to break down everything that we want to see in this video, how it affects Dillon Gabriel going forward. Does it affect Shedeur Sanders at all? Maybe, maybe not. We did hear today, actually, that Shedeur Sanders will play at some point this season. They expect him to. Thought there was a lot of inconsistencies with Dillon Gabriel. A lot of overthrown balls, maybe some underthrown balls, right? Just a lot of mix-up. I just wasn't sure, so we're going to...
If you've been keeping up with this wild ride called college football, you already know the pattern. Someone blows up, the media crowns them the next big thing, and then, boom, they drop the storyline faster than they drop the ball. And this time, the star of that tragic headline act was none other than Dillon Gabriel.
Details come down to it, and I think in any game you're going to want 45 plays back. Of course, the result will feel different, and maybe your 45 plays may feel different, but that's the game we live and play in. So got to be better, and those 4 to 5 plays is what and why you continue to work as hard as you do.
Dillon, there were a number of airport throws where it looked like you and the receiver were not on the same page. Were those missed?
It wasn't not on the same page. That's me on my end, trying to be smart in certain situations, and we get cloud and get want to make an answer there.
Every pregame prediction, every "he's the guy" segment suddenly aged like milk left out under the desert sun. You could practically see fans in slow motion, eyes wide, trying to process how their dream debut turned into a full-blown documentary called How to Lose a Fan Base in 4 Quarters. It's poetic, really. Dillon Gabriel spent weeks being hyped as the chosen one, the golden boy who'd make defenses crumble and analysts swoon. But instead, he made defensive coordinators look like absolute masterminds. You know it's bad when rival fans start thanking you online for the entertainment. And meanwhile, somewhere out in Colorado, Shedeur Sanders was probably sitting back with that signature grin, like a man who just got handed the keys to a kingdom he didn't even have to fight for this week. Because when Dillon stumbled, Shedeur's spotlight exploded 10 times brighter. Suddenly, every sports show that had moved on from him was back, replaying his highlights, digging up his stats, and reminding everyone that this man doesn't just talk, he backs it up.
We're going right to Kevin Stefanski, and we're going to look at your playbook. And the two Kevins today in the bowl of the Kevins that coach for both teams, one Kevin's playbook looked a certain way with a backup journeyman quarterback named Carson Wentz, whose arm was hurt, and a journeyman back, and 3 different offensive linemen, right? 60% of the offensive line is gone. But you know what they did? They found a way to creatively get Justin Jefferson to rock.
But let's rewind for a second. Dillon Gabriel's hype didn't just appear out of nowhere. It was built, polished, and sold like the next big Marvel sequel, with analysts hyping him up before he even took a snap. Everyone swore this man was about to redefine quarterbacking, and he did, just not the way they imagined. He redefined how fast public opinion can crash and burn. His debut turned into a masterclass in underperformance, like watching someone try to juggle fire and drop every torch. Even the commentators started struggling to find nice ways to describe the chaos on that field. The game plan looked like it was scribbled on a napkin during a lunch break. And with every failed drive, you could feel the energy in the stadium sink from hopeful to horrified. You could see it, the 5 stages of football grief, all happening before halftime. Meanwhile, social media went absolutely nuclear. Clips of missed throws turned into GIFs before the ball even hit the turf. The internet doesn't wait, and Dillon gave them plenty to feast on. His name trended for all the wrong reasons. And while he spiraled, Shedeur Sanders' name rose from the algorithm ashes like a phoenix, glowing brighter than ever.
Dillon Gabriel was 19 for 33 in terms of completions. He had 2 touchdowns, an interception. He did get sacked, and he did throw the ball away quite a bit. But he also does a lot of what I call this tippy paws kind of football. He doesn't do a lot of long throwing because he can't. He's short. He can't see over the line. And his accuracy in throwing long range, it's not there.
And that's when the whispers started flying. Does this mean it's finally Shedeur's turn? Because let's be real, Shedeur Sanders has been waiting for that door to swing open again. Every time another quarterback gets hyped up as the next big thing, Shedeur just sits back, polishing his stats and waiting for his moment. And when that spotlight finally swings back his way, it's never luck, it's perfect timing. Dillon Gabriel's downfall didn't just open a gap, it created a whole vacuum, and Shedeur's presence slid right in to fill it. It's wild how fast the story flips. Just last week, people were debating if Shedeur could hang with the new wave. Now that same wave hit a rock, sank fast, and there's Shedeur, calm, confident, maybe even amused, watching it all unfold while others trip over their own hype. See, his calm isn't arrogance, it's assurance. The man doesn't need hype to prove his worth because Shedeur's confidence isn't just a vibe, it's built on data. He's been tested, doubted, picked apart by critics, and every single time he's delivered with precision. That's the difference right there. Dillon Gabriel had a marketing campaign. Shedeur Sanders, he's got a resume that speaks louder than any promo ever could.
I told you so. I told you so. And the Minnesota Vikings was shooting, and they was gunning to beat Dillon Gabriel. So as you can see, Dillon Gabriel lost to the Minnesota Vikings. And what I can tell you, man, you can get this nigga all the balls. Yes, you get him all the turnovers, and he can't win. I tell you this, Joe Flacco would have won that game. Yes, he would have won that game with that many turnovers. They should have took Dillon out and then Flacco get back in. And boom, Flacco just had too many turnovers. Yes, but at that time against that team. But yes, this one where the Cleveland Browns was up on turnovers, making Minnesota turn the ball over, and Dillon Gabriel come in and he can't drive down the field. I told you.
You can feel the tide shifting fast. The same folks who were ready to crown Dillon Gabriel as the next superstar are now switching sides quicker than a fair-weather fan in the 4th quarter. Suddenly, everyone's remembering that Shedeur Sanders' numbers are elite, his pocket awareness is surgical, and his calm under pressure looks like something straight out of a video game. And as they replay Dillon's lowlights on loop, you can almost hear the question in everyone's mind. What would Shedeur have done there? Spoiler alert, it sure wouldn't involve tossing the ball straight to the other team. By halftime, the conversation wasn't even about Dillon anymore. It was all about the guy who wasn't even on the field. That's when you know the story's flipped for good. And the irony? It's rich. All offseason, people questioned whether Shedeur was built for the big stage. Meanwhile, Dillon finally got the spotlight and melted faster than ice in July. It's almost karmic, like the football gods wanted to remind everyone that hype isn't skill and swagger without execution, just noise. And of course, the excuses came pouring in. The weather, the play calling, the O-line, even the lighting.
If you look at the way Dillon Gabriel played and the way that offense was constructed from Kevin Stefanski, Dillon Gabriel played like a robot. It was a lot of dip and dunks. It was a lot of rollouts and just throw the ball to the running back coming out of the backfield. It was a lot of opposite directions, just getting the ball out quick, dipping and dunk. But if you're really watching the game and you're watching Dillon Gabriel throw the ball down the field, he just doesn't have it. Anything that's past 15 yards, Dillon Gabriel don't have it. It's a lot of times that he was just throwing the ball and he had no control with the ball.
At one point, someone probably blamed Mercury being in retrograde, anything to dodge the truth. Dillon Gabriel didn't just fail, he flopped in spectacular fashion. It was like watching a magic trick fall apart, but the magician keeps pretending it's all part of the show. You could almost see the panic settle in mid-game when he realized nothing was going according to script. Every throw got shakier, every glance toward the sideline more desperate. His composure cracked, his rhythm vanished, and that confident aura everyone talked about, gone, evaporated under those bright stadium lights. Then came that dreaded look, the one every athlete fears, the "how did this happen?" face. That moment when confidence turns into confusion and disaster turns into a viral highlight reel. And now, with Dillon's stock dropping faster than crypto in 2022, the stage is wide open. The path ahead isn't just clear, it's practically rolled out with a red carpet. Every commentator, every analyst, every fan scrolling through their feed is asking the same question loud and clear. Is it finally Shedeur Sanders' time now?
Oh my God. 25 seconds left. Look at the win probability. Look at the win probability. Oh my God. Okay, I might as well just start recording the video now because it's about over 25 seconds. We're gonna react to this last 25 seconds. Dillon Gabriel played, and I want to get this out. I want to give Dillon Gabriel a C plus B minus. C plus B minus, right? Now, I will say, luckily, because I know there's going to be a halftime clip in here where I talk about how he did average more air yards, right? He did average more air yards.
Let's be real, it's definitely starting to look that way. Dillon Gabriel was supposed to be the roadblock, the challenge, the guy to measure Shedeur Sanders against. But if that first game was any clue, that roadblock just turned into a traffic cone. And Shedeur doesn't slow down for traffic cones. It's crazy how fast momentum flips in football. One bad game and boom, an entire season storyline gets rewritten. Dillon went from unstoppable to trending under what went wrong, and in that gap of doubt, Shedeur's name started shining brighter than ever. It's like the football world collectively hit reset. And guess who's sitting at the top of that list now? There's something poetic about it too. Shedeur Sanders doesn't chase attention, he commands it. Every time the noise fades, his game starts talking louder than any headline ever could. He doesn't need to go viral for mistakes. His highlights do the talking. The same hype cycle that lifted Dillon up is now dragging him down. And at the same time, it's pushing Shedeur straight into prime position.
I told you, the Cleveland Browns would not score 30 points this season. The only time you will see the Cleveland Browns score 30 points this season was Shedeur Sanders' preseason game. You go look at my first video before the first game. They would not. Yes, they practiced like they prayed. You've seen the preseason game. What was Dillon Gabriel's points in the preseason game? The man can only score 7 to 14 points. Same for Joe Flacco. They cannot put over 20. Yes, if they was expecting to win, they're not going to win too many games with 14 to 17 points. Can't score over 20 points. You're not going to be able to win no games that way. Yes, especially being in the AFC to compete with the Chiefs and everybody else, you can't. But we do know a person that did score 30, Shedeur Sanders. Yes, Shedeur does game winners because where they had 17-21, and it was Cleveland's ball at the end, the last drive. They could have probably went down and scored.
But here's the kicker. This ain't just about one bad game. It's about what comes next. Sure, Dillon Gabriel can try to bounce back, but let's be honest, first impressions hit hard, and this one was brutal. You don't get many chances to show you belong, and when your debut looks like an audition for the other team's highlight reel, that trust disappears fast. Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders is sitting steady, cool as ever, ready to remind everyone that preparation always beats potential. So yeah, maybe this is finally Shedeur's turn. The contrast couldn't be clearer. Dillon looked like he was chasing the game while Shedeur played like he was conducting it. Dillon's vibe screamed pressure, but Shedeur's whole presence whispered control. One cracked under expectations, the other thrives inside them. It's the perfect reminder that football's never just about arm strength, it's about mindset. And right now, Shedeur Sanders' mindset looks like it's made of steel. He's not out here trying to silence doubters anymore. He's proving something to the believers, to everyone who's watched him grow, adapt, and stay composed while others collapse under the same spotlight.
Complimentary football when it comes to the Browns as we do our little post game here following the game in London where they lost to the Minnesota Vikings 21-17. Complimentary football. Well, normally you would think that's 3 phases of the ball. That would be offense, defense, special teams. There's the 4th, and say what you want. Every week we hear the coaches say, we've got to coach better. I got to tell you, Daryl, inside of the last 4 minutes of the game, I'm pointing that game 100% on play calling and mistakes that the coaching staff made on this one. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, that fourth quarter, Andy, in which the Browns picked up 1 first down.
So while Dillon Gabriel's debut will forever sit in the archives under what not to do in your first game, Shedeur Sanders is quietly gearing up for his next statement performance. The kind that doesn't just win fans, but builds legacies. The kind that makes people realize that sometimes failure doesn't shut a door. It blasts another one wide open. And that open door, it's pointing straight towards Shedeur. Because in football, hype fades fast, but results stick forever. Dillon had the headlines, but Shedeur has the proof. One crumbled when the lights came on, while the other shines brighter because of them. And if history's taught us anything, when opportunity meets preparation, there's no contest. The lane's wide open now, and everybody knows exactly who's about to walk through it. Shedeur Sanders doesn't need permission, doesn't need validation. He just needs the ball. And once he gets it, well, we all know how that story ends. The internet can keep looping Dillon's bloopers all night long. Shedeur's already busy writing the sequel, one highlight at a time.